There are pros and cons to going to college and living with a friend from high school. The pros would be that you know the person and you're friends with the person, so theoretically you should remain friends throughout college. You know hopefully their living styles and you know what type of person they are. If they do things that you don't like, you probably won't be as good friends with them. You wouldn't want to live with them. So hopefully you know that person well enough to agree to live with them. However, there are a lot of bad things that can go hand in hand with living with a friend from high school. These include that your friend might not be the same living style as you. When you go into a college experience, into housing, you usually fill out a housing request form. And on the housing request form, you'll detail if you're a smoker, if you drink, if you stay up late, if you sleep with the light on, if you leave the TV on when you sleep, if you leave the TV on when you're studying, if you study in groups, if you study individually, all kinds of stuff that goes on that housing request form. And then the school will match you up with someone that has more or less the same type of living style as you. Now, if your friend goes to bed at 9 o'clock at night and you like to go to bed at 3 a.m., it's going to be very difficult to live together. You guys might be the best of friends in high school, but living together, you just won't match. You won't work out. Now, this could put a really big strain on your friendship, and you guys might not remain friends for very long. You might have a falling out because you didn't want to talk to your friend about how they're doing things differently than you'd see them as, because you've been friends with this person for so long. You don't really want to confront them about themselves, about how they live and how they act. Things will just escalate and you might end up in a fight, and your friendship will just be completely strained, and it might not end up staying as a friendship. So you want to make sure that if you go into a housing agreement with a friend from high school, that friend from high school has very similar living styles to your own. It's also good to go into college without a friend from high school, because then you branch off and you meet all these new people. If you go to college with your friend from high school, you might make new friends, you may make all kinds of new friends, but you also might stick with that one friend going into this new atmosphere, this new environment, and you might find it very difficult to branch off and find new cliques or new groups of friends that don't include your old friend from high school. You don't want to leave your friend out from high school is what you're going to feel like, but at the same time you're not going to want to be with him or her all the time. So if you're living with that person and you're always hanging out with that person, it might be a little bit difficult for you personally to enjoy the full college experience. Finding a new roommate could give you a potential new friend, or making friends with your roommate's friends, if it's a new person, can open you up to an entirely new group of people, new interests, new talents, and people that might be very much like you, and people that you might want to pursue a friendship with. So basically, you just want to make sure that whether it's your friend from high school or a new roommate, that you're going to have living styles that are similar to one another, so that your friendship isn't strained, and so that you have the best experience possible for that freshman year.